Chapter 12, Visualization, Placing 3D Objects. Okay, so we're going to go back into this Bighorn project, and we're going to go to the visualization tools as soon as we get in. So we're here in the concept side, or the conceptualize side of it. I'm going to zoom into an area here, and you can see I've got 3D elements in here, and we placed those objects, that furniture, in an earlier chapter. So we've got a stoplight there, guardrail, a fence, and some cones out there. And since we put those in the 2D side, they're actually 3D elements. So when we go to visualize from the backstage and we zoom into that same location here on this side of things, you can see that that 3D information shows up as well. So we rotate that around and kind of zoom in. You can see the stoplight in there. Yep, 3D furniture from the conceptualize side. Okay. Then the objects that we can add in, if we go to the trees or the vegetation, we can add individual trees, which is kind of where I'm at now. We can pick whatever tree that we want to bring in. See, there's all different kinds in here. I think if you scroll down in here, you can actually get to some other trees. Or at the bottom of this, there's little buttons that you can push. But if you scroll down, it'll go through all the different trees. Here's the little buttons right down here. So you can pick a tree that you want to place. And then when you go out to, I can close this box down. When you go out to the model, then it's got that tree ready to go. You can place that tree wherever you want to, and it will try to place it on the existing ground out there, wherever you click. Now once you place it, it goes ahead and selects it automatically, and then you got all kinds of options here that you can do with this. This particular tree, we can tell it what time of the year it is with that little slide lever, what the season is, and it'll change that tree for us. Over there on the left also you have a rotate, so if I don't want it to be straight up and down, I can tilt it. And this is the second tool on our selections. Or I can tilt it back and away from myself. And then I can also, at the bottom of that there, I can rotate it around one way or the other. That first tool allows you to change the elevation above or below its placement or the existing ground. Usually when you get close to existing ground, it'll kind of pop on there. But you can move it left and right, up and down, and then you can also go and scale it. Maybe at a different size. Maybe it's a little bit bigger tree. So not all the trees have to be exactly the same size. You can grab one of those little white handles and scale it up or down. Trees, we don't have trees moving, so we don't want to move this tree around, but you could also delete it. Then there's the paintbrush tool that allows you to paint these trees around. And there's a selection. I think there's 4 in this selection. But once you click on that tool, you can go out on your screen and you should get a circle that shows the area in which it's going to try to place these trees. So I got several different kinds of trees out there, and all you got to do is paint them. And you're just holding the left mouse button down in the area that you want to paint those trees. Okay, and then I've got another tree here that I'm placing, just a single tree, and you can see that tree really moves with the wind. So the wind is controlling that tree. So if I go back to the mountaintops here, and I go to the wind in plants, I can control that. So I can make it super windy, or I can make it more still. And you're going to get that when you get above about 4 or 5 stars on the program. So if you've got 2 stars, typically you won't even see the wind. You can also place people. So right below the vegetation, over here on the left, you can place pets. You can place people. All kinds of different people that you can place out here. So I'm going to go to this first one here. I'm going to pick somebody. This guy looks like he's looking at his phone, so he'd be perfect to walk along the side of the roadway. So I'm going to go ahead and pick him. And all you have to do is come out here on the screen where you want to place him. And I'm going to place him over on this side, and he's going to walk along that guardrail. So to get him to do that, I placed him out there. And down here towards the bottom here, there's this animation tool. and there's a path. And all you have to do is left click, and it knows that you're placing this on top of that roadway, and so it puts that elevation of that roadway at his feet. So I went ahead and did that, and then I'm going to hit the play button on there and then just watch him kind of slide along there. Um, that's kind of how it animates people. So it'll slide them along that path. So that's kind of neat. I mean, overall, if you're zoomed out a little bit and you have traffic going, all that kind of stuff, it looks pretty cool. The other thing, what would an animation be without some kind of a dog running in the background? So I'm going to come over here with a pet. I'm going to grab this walking dog walking. We're going to do the same thing with it. I'm going to go out there and place him or her out there on that side and then give it a path to run along. Okay, this one, the animation path, I'm going to go ahead and play it. And that dog actually looks like it's walking because it was created that way. So it's walking along that path. So now I got a person sliding along a path and a dog walking along a path out there. Now we can add cars, trucks, vans, anything that we have out here. Once you pick on that tool, it's going to go out there and ask you what vehicles that you want to place. If you want to place a single vehicle, you can do that. I picked a BMW, and you can see it's trying to put it on the surface, whatever surface your mouse is on. So I left click to place it. I can rotate it around, slide it left, right, up, down, vertically as well, and I can animate it. So I do the animation tool, and I can just give it a path to travel along. Everywhere I click, it's going to try to travel down that roadway. Now what happens is it gets in a loop, so wherever you stop it, it's just going to keep going until it gets to the end, and then it's going to start back over at the front, at the start. Okay, so now I got a dog walking, a guy sliding, and a car driving. If I want, I can click on this car or on this dog again. Let's go back to the dog. When you use the selection tool, you can actually click on that dog then and do edits. So once it's placed, you can use that selection tool, change whatever you want. Maybe it needs to start back a little further or move back further. We can do that, and you can do that with any of the objects that are created on this side, the visualization side. Okay. So we're starting to get an intersection that's looking pretty good. Go back to the car placement. If I go back into the cars that we have, you can take a look at all the different kind of cars we have. I'm going to add some of these into a selection. So I'm going to go paint these cars. And for painting of a car, it's exactly the same. I've got a few cars in a selection there. All you have to do is left click and hold, and it's going to paint cars wherever you left click and hold. So now I got kind of a traffic jam right there on that side of the intersection. And one of the cars is off the road. You can delete cars if you want, select them and delete them, whatever you want. This last tool in here, though, allows you to place traffic. So I can do traffic. I can do 2 lanes of traffic. I can change the width to whatever I want it to be. I can change the speed, all of that. And then in the bottom part down there is how much vehicles that are going to be in this traffic and what kind of vehicles. So if I need more or different vehicles, I can go out and select them and add them into my list of vehicles that will be driving along these paths. I could put a helicopter in there if I wanted to. I think I'll pass at this point, but you could do that and put that in there. So how this tool works, you go out and basically pick where you want to start this traffic. We're going to drive over those cones. That's perfectly fine for this, but I'm just going to pick kind of somewhere center of the road, and it's going to ask me where I want this path to go. So I'm just going to draw this down the road. Okay, so again, it's going to start and end, and these cars will just appear and disappear wherever I start and end it. So once I get that in there, it's going to have all those cars, and you can see I got 2 lanes of traffic in each direction on this one. So I want to change that. I don't want 2 lanes in each direction. I just want 1. So I'm going to slap that down to 1. And then when I come back out, it's going to update. It's going to take a second to update that. It's going to think about it. And then it's going to update this to one lane. I might have to hit the play button to get this to work correctly, or to switch it. So I can come in here and change the width of my roadway. I still got the 2 lanes going, so I'm going to hit the play button. It's going to regenerate then, now down to the 1 lane in each direction, and I slowed the traffic down just a little bit. So now if you were doing a fly through, you would be able to see traffic actually moving along at the same pace. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add in some other objects. I'm going to add in, let's say I want to put in let's put one of these in. Let's put in a manhole. So I'm going to put in this manhole up towards the intersection. So I'm going to zoom in up there. And we like to put manholes right in the middle of the road, in the middle of traffic. So that's what I'm going to do, put one right there. Some other objects that we can place out here. We've got all kinds of different objects that you can place. Telephone booths, bike racks, parking meters. Those are all built in. Like I said, you can find a lot of these on the internet too and download them and place them in your file as well. So we got different kinds of walls. Let's say I want to place this wood fence right along here. I just want one panel for right now, just to show you how this works. But you just drop it in, rotate it how you want it, move it where you would like it. And then right now it's kind of leaned back a little bit. So I'm going to go in and pick on that and make it lean correctly, because it's going at the slope of the roadway there. So what I want to do is I'm going to get this second tool in here and adjust the lean. And now I've got it kind of going more straight up and down along there. And I can put a fence all the way around up there if I wanted to. Okay. Then when you pick the house tool, you can go out here. It's got all kinds of different buildings and houses. We've got some really tall buildings, a lot of different structures. There are houses out on the internet that I've downloaded before and added to different drawings that look really nice. Here's one with some bridges, walkover bridges, and then just some other structures that they've come up with and put into the program. So I'll go back to the house one. I'm just going to pick this house here, and I'm going to place it on this side of the road. As you can see, I don't have any stars right now, so I don't see anything on the existing ground hardly at all. All I see is new objects. And that's what you're going to get on a machine that doesn't have enough power or video card. You'll get that a lot, and you might just have to sit there and wait for it to update. Okay, so there's a house that I've placed out there. And you can adjust things now like lighting. So I went into the mountaintops here and I've adjusted the lighting, and you can kind of see the lights on the cars will light up. If you had other lights in the ConceptStation model, they would show up as lights. But you can see that some of the lights on the cars there are turned on. Which is kind of neat. Okay, so you can do a lot of different visualization things with this. Fly-throughs are coming up here in just a minute in the next chapter. But as you rotate this around, you can see you've actually created kind of a nice looking little intersection with moving vehicles in very short amount of time. And if you just kind of let it sit there and let the stars get larger, or you can force it to do so by picking on one of the stars, you'll have a nice looking little intersection. There you go.